Hello everyone, welcome to Fiaura, and in today's Armored Warfare video we're going to talk to you about the Sphinx and the problems with Tier 10. So this is a Sphinx. This is a fully upgraded Sphinx with all of the bells and whistles. As soon as I finish putting all the bells and whistles back on it. So here we go. The Sphinx has some problems. Quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. And that is that it is just not capable of actually performing at Tier 10 against main battle tanks. Simply put, this vehicle will not, under any circumstance, be a competitive vehicle against Tier 10 MBTs. And I'm going to show you why. Now, the Sphinx only has one other AFV to compete with, and it's the T-15. The T-15, which as you can see is not actually in my garage anymore, is not very good. However, the Sphinx has it a little worse in terms of its penetration capabilities. As you can see, it has 306 penetration with its top-end sabot round. The Challenger 2 has 380 millimeters of side armor before we factor in its armor composition. This is the same throughout all of the MBTs at Tier 10. Even the PL-01 will stop it from the front all the time because of the angling of the armor. The T-14, you will not penetrate the side armor because at 1.7 times composite versus 306 pen means that this is effective 335 millimeters of side armor. And it is the weakest armored Tier 10 on the side of any Tier 10 vehicle. When we look at the M60A3, it comes out to just over 270 millimeters of side armor when you factor in the composite. And of course, the Leopard doesn't look like it has it at 125 base, but once it's upgraded, which it has an armor upgrade, it brings its side armor up to nearly 325 millimeters effective armor before we factor in angle of impact or the fact that spaced armor has tracks and all those other things you have to chew through. In essence, the autocannon simply will not penetrate Tier 10 vehicles from the front or sides. As a matter of fact, the Sphinx's own armor diagram and layout at 263 millimeters of armor with multiple sloping angles and cage all around it, it has trouble pinning itself from the front and the sides, especially the turret. It has trouble hurting itself. The Crab more reliably hurts the Sphinx for some reason that I cannot fathom, other than the fact the Crab gets a shitload more shots per volley from its gun. The fact of the matter is, it simply won't penetrate with its autocannon. And since everything at Tier 10 has an APS system, including this vehicle, oddly enough, firing 2 missiles means the first missile does nothing. And if another tank gets too close to the guidance path for the second missile, it also gets shot down. Now I'm going to show you how to play this vehicle in PvP. Then we're going to play in PvE match, so that you guys fully understand the depth of the problem with Tier 10. So here we have it. I am driving a Sphinx on River Point. I'm going to adjust my camera, as we usually do. And we are going to go looking at how the Sphinx actually performs at this tier. Now, I will say this for the Sphinx. It will outspot, it will out-camouflage, and it will outrun the other Tier 9s and 10s. However, if a Draco gets a hold of it, you're screwed. And if you are facing a main battle tank at any angle but the rear, you can't really effectively hurt it. So we're about to see it in action. I quite frankly prefer my Crab. because at least my crab will reliably hurt things despite the fact of its lower penetration and fires so many rounds one of them is bound to find a weak point. In the case of the Sphinx, that is not going to happen. You only have a 13-round clip. As you can see, I am spotting here. And I got these guys lit up. They can't see me at all. This is a very common AFV spot. It's a very common early spot because you get to see everyone trying to cross, and hopefully your allies will put a few rounds out. I even marked that challenger, who still can't see me, by the way. They can't see me. I tried taking a shot. They still can't see me. I wanted to verify if they could see me if I fired. However, yonder challenger fires a shot at me anyway, despite the fact I'm not spotted. I do, however, help with the spotting, and I destroy that Terminator 2. Don't manage to hit the crab, sadly. Now, the other problem with the Sphinx is despite being a lightly armored vehicle and a light vehicle, without over-penetration in the game, I still take massive amounts of damage per hit. In the case from the Challenger, I took over 600 damage. I only have 2,300 hit points. I am a 2-shot for Sabo shells from a T-14. 2 shots. That's all it takes. 3 shots on average from most of the MBTs. Now, I'm getting lucky in the fact I can see his engine deck. And I decided to take a shot at the crab, and the crab, of course, spots me at this range. So I throw down the smoke, and I back up, reposition. Now, those penetrations on the Challenger, you'll notice I fired 5 shots at the Challenger, 2 penetrated. That's only because I hit the upper top part of the Challenger, where the armor is weak, and there is the engine deck. The normal side armor is completely immune to my shells, even from that very high angle. However, not having seen those PLO-1s do anything for a while, I start sneaking up. That PLO-1, now I'm going to pause this here, because he doesn't see me. That PLO-1 is barely at 250 meters. He had clear line of sight to me. Did not see me. So, I can move around very stealthily. And it takes a great deal of skill and sheer balls. But I can do it. Now the problem, of course, being that the main battle tanks pretty much win or lose the show at this tier. I am not able to win this match. I am, however, able to get behind these Challengers, wreck his engine and destroy him, and then look at this other Challenger, wreck his engine, and just pump shell after shell into him. And that's all I got. I'm out of ammo right now. 13 shots will not clip out any of the tier 10s. Not a single tier 10 except for another Sphinx will be clipped out by 13 direct hits. However, I can sure as hell ruin that T90's day for half his health. Again, we see the problem. T90's again exposed. I'm shooting the side and rear of that PLO-1, and I'm unable to hurt it. I do, however, now know they know I'm fucking here. And I need to get the hell out of Dodge. My team is disintegrating. One of the major defects of driving these tier 10 AFVs. You can't carry, and your clip doesn't do enough damage to kill someone outright. Not to mention the fact that I can only hurt you from the rear or with very, very precise side shooting. I cannot hurt any of these tanks, and I know it, without that very, very precise side shooting or by shooting them in the rear. So at this point, I've given up. I have lost. I have no chance. That is the problem with tier 10 AFVs right now. We don't have I hate to be negative about it, but this is the feedback that I have received from everyone. The Sphinx is garbage. No, the Sphinx isn't garbage. It's that nothing is balanced for the Sphinx to really exist or function properly. As you can see, I've just given up. I'm driving off. And now I'm going to show you guys how to hide. And I'm also going to move this off so Armored Warfare moderators can see the chat at this point. This is how you, on River Point, this is how you hide at the end of the game. So you get up in here, and as you can see, I can't see anything unless it comes over this ridge. Which means that basically, they will never find me. Unless they literally come up to the top where that tree is. That tree, the base of that tree is 50 meters. So unless they hit the base of this tree, they will never, ever find me. No matter what they do. I did more than 4,900 damage. A couple of those blind shots did hit. But yeah. The Challenger, actually I'll point them out to you. The Challenger and the T-15 HIV named Captain America. There you go, moderators. There you go. Have at it. That's all I can say to you. I don't want to have to shame people, but you know what? I'll let you guys take care of it. But yeah, that is the Sphinx. I did 5,100 actual damage and 2,600 spotting. And that's it. And that's not even 2 tanks worth at tier 10. And again, you're not given the opportunity to carry in PvP. PvE, on the other hand, let's see. I bet I'm OP as hell. You know how I know I'm going to be OP as hell? Because there's going to be a bunch of lightly armored and no armored vehicles that I can just beat the tar out of. And on top of that, I can outspot virtually everything, including the lieutenants. Now, it's been a while since I flexed my gut at Red Possum, and as you can see, you really know which vehicle is the overpowered vehicle at tier 10 when you walk into a match like this. 3 T-14s. Okay. Now, we are going to, I'm going to be talking all through this, or try my best to make sure that I don't shut up, so that you guys can hopefully be guided by my efforts, should you decide to actually purchase this vehicle. I will be re-reviewing it, which is why it's still in my garage, should there actually be drastic modifications to tier 10, which have been promised but not delivered in almost 5 patches now. Now, as you can see, one of the problems with the Sphinx is it doesn't turn very quickly. But oh boy, can I eat this thing alive. While I reload the main gun. I don't know why the missiles went there, but okay. I have to aim low and do all that damage. I've done 3,500 now. I am keeping up with the MBTs, which is something you can do in PvE. Now, as you can see, I'm staying back on the backside of this ridge as protection. I'm using my gun depression so that my weapon can be brought to bear, but I am not exposing myself. I am refusing, as a matter of fact, to expose myself because I know better. And missiles are going to be useless in this case because that thing has an APS system. I know this. However, I'm also spotting these guys for my allies when this thing appears behind us. And now just tear it apart. As you guys can see, I'm barely keeping up with the T-15 right now. But that's because I am having to do some reposition in order to keep firing. And now I've passed everybody again. Now I know this thing can't really hurt me. Alright, so that clears that. And now we move up here to this ridge line. Now this ridge line is very good for unarmored vehicles to start with. You're going to want to actually head to the checkpoint soon. But this gives me the opportunity for those guys that are about to come through there to be ambushed, and I have this back here for cover. So I back up to here, and I start laying out. And he's dead. Now see, those should have penetrated. They all bounced. They should have pinned though, and I know they should have. That's one of the problems with the Sphinx, is a lot of the time shots that should penetrate simply don't. Now I'm using this dead corpse as cover. Again, we have another ricochet. Trying to get a shot. Alright, he's done. And as you can see, I'm not quite sure how that frickin' T-15 is doing all that damage, but the T-15 does more damage with his clip than I do with mine by a long shot. And of course the T-14 Armatas are just going to hog a whole tank to themselves every time they shoot it. I should not bounce an M8, okay? Like, seriously. Under no circumstances should that happen. It does not have enough armor, period, to ricochet this 40mm gun. And yet I just bounced it with half my clip, Obsidian. Something is wrong here. When light tanks have nothing to fear from AFVs, that means the balance suddenly shifted in a way that you didn't explain to us. And I'm having to take very, very careful aim. It takes a lot of getting used to. Not something the T-14s are having to do, by the way. They just come up and blast and do 1,000 damage through the turret. And I got another kill. The T-14s, of course, are probably leading the leaderboard now. I'm having to struggle with an AFV to keep up with a main battle tank on damage per minute. This is ridiculous. This should not happen. At no other tier does this occur. Yet here we are with the Sphinx, and I have to struggle to keep up with the T-14's damage output. Those are side shots into the engine deck area for no damage over and over again. That is obscene. That is obscene! No MBT should have enough armor back there to stop a 40mm cannon with 300 pen from penetrating it over and over again. Yet there it is. And this is what you have to deal with, guys. You have no armor, and the MBTs will gladly shoot at the no armor targets instead of letting you handle them. On top of the fact that you simply just don't do enough damage in a clip to kill a tank usually, especially if a single shot doesn't penetrate. If a single shot bounces, you just miss your damage off. And therefore, you're not going to do enough damage. And now I have to sit here and fight these MBTs to be able to hit anything, because they're clogging up the way. I can't do anything normally, and now they're blocking all my shots. T-14 balanced. No, it is not. This is bullshit. They can sit up here with their front armor swords, these guys, and not give two shits. And just pummel away at everything that comes through there. That tells you something's wrong. And look at how much damage he did with one clip. My clip doesn't do that. My clip does 3,000 tops. And that's all I got. See, they just have to turn just a little bit, and I can't hurt them suddenly. That is how little it takes for me to be unable to hurt the target, and that's the end of this. I don't know. I don't know who thought this was balanced. I don't know who played tiers 4, 5, 6, and even into tier 7. And then decided that this was balanced for tier 10. But whoever did, you obviously don't play your own game. Right now, the Sphinx really, truly, absolutely is a penalty to every team that it goes on, and is terrible in every way, shape, and form. The ATGMs are useless because they get shot down more often than not, and even if they don't, they usually get blocked anyway by the armor. Despite the 1400 millimeters of effective penetration, they pretty much are useless. It is nearly impossible for this AFV to keep up with the damage output of a T-14, which is a main battle tank, which should not be able to keep up with its DPS, with its DPM. Yet the T-14 does have a higher DPM than the Sphinx. Since the Sphinx is just barely over 10,000, and the T-14 is actually almost 11,000. Simply put, the vehicle is not functional at present, and I recommend not buying it. I recommend not buying any of the Tier 10s, actually, until they fix them. That is my absolute recommendation. This whole section of your garage is a waste of your time till they fix it. The balance is off, and it is clearly displayed by the Sphinx that there is no form of balance or integrated amounts of actual thought and care put into making these tanks function together in a way that would allow this vehicle to be in any way, shape, or form considered lethal. Don't buy this one right now, guys. You are as cool as it looks, as awesome as it sounds, in the present environment. Taking a Sphinx, you are a detriment to your team. You really, truly are. The T-15, especially now, can outperform you in just about every way and actually has the armor to stop main battle tank rounds. Meanwhile, your gun just doesn't output enough damage. Just flat out. 244 at 13 rounds. I'm going to actually calculate this out for you. So 224 times 13 is 2,912. You cannot kill any Tier 10 vehicle except another Sphinx with that much damage output on average. Not one. There's none of them, not even the T-14 Armata, that you can kill with that little damage output from a single clip. And considering the length of time it takes you to output a clip is almost 5 seconds, that means that if they fired a shot and you come out behind them and start shooting and they can't actually turn their tank around for some reason while you're shooting them in the rear, they actually can turn their turret around and shoot you before you finish emptying your clip. That's a problem. That is a huge problem. And one for which the Sphinx suffers. I'm sorry to give such a burningly negative review, but as you guys know, I am known for brutally honest reviews, which I need to bring back to the channel, which would require me to actually have some, time to play those games. Needs to be a thing again. Anyway, if you all had a good time, or this gave you an explanation as to why the Sphinx is not exactly the Tier 10 vehicle for just about anybody right now, go ahead and hit the like button. If you'd like to see more stuff by me, Fiaura, you can subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so through Patreon, or you can check out the ad at the end of the video. Here's the previous Armored Warfare video explaining precisely why the Challenger 1 is overpowered. Lastly, I hope all of you had a good and wonderful time. So, until next time, see ya. Okay, now for all of you who stuck around. Hey, everybody, go bug Lightfoot Freddy. Seriously, he's another YouTuber, and I want to do a collaboration with him, and I figure I'll send the army of Fiaura to do it. If you stayed to this point, wink at me. Go ahead. I dare you. By the way, Lightfoot Freddy's email is in the description below. Wink, wink, hint, hint. But yeah, wink, wink, hint, hint. Wink if you got this far, and his email's in the description below after my email, so it's at the very bottom. What? I thought I'd play a practical joke on somebody. Maybe I'll play one on you and attempt to record you through the camera with a camera. Does that actually work? I don't know. We could try it! You're on camera! As of... Oh. I don't have a battery. Right, they're charging. My bad! Okay. You're all still here, aren't you? You really are. Why are you still here? Are you just here because you're gonna... You know, I'm still on camera, though. I'm talking to you, and I'm still on camera, and I've just been running my mouth at this point, and, Holy shit, Doc! Must end recording now!